Here's a mistake I see many buyers make. They spend weeks comparing prices, but almost nobody compares the layout. The truth is, not all unit types are equal. Some layouts attract far more buyers, hold their value better, and are much easier to sell in the future. Today, I'll compare two developments and show you exactly how I choose the better unit. This framework could potentially save you from buying the wrong property. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today, what I'm going to share with you is based on my 15 years of experience in the real estate industry and of course my own research. The two developments that I'm going to share with everyone today is called Affinity at Serangoon and 100 Palms Residences. I believe a lot of you have heard that 100 Palms have broke many records in the resale market. Let's deep dive into why is it so. So, for a buyer who is always looking for a next home or a resale property, right? Normally they will compare a few developments that have the same attributes, or maybe looking for the same amenities or schools or MRT. So why am I comparing 100 Palms and Affinity? Because both of them have about the same launch date, or they are about the same age. And if today you can see the red color one is 100 Palms and the blue is Affinity at Serangoon. Surprisingly, 100 Palms Resale EC have performed much better than a condo in the same vicinity. So let's deep dive into why is this so. Let's look at the 3-bedroom current transaction between these two developments. If you look at the 3-bedder transaction in Affinity, most of the transaction in PSF is about 1,009, 1,008 plus. But if you have to focus and look into 100 Palms, most of the transaction for the 3-bedder is transacting about 2,000 and slightly above 2,000 PSF. Why is this so? So next, I will take out the layouts from these two developments and make a comparison. If you look at Affinity 850 square feet, right? Coming in the main door, you can see is straight away is the kitchen. This is something that a lot of homeowners, they don't really like. And straight in after the kitchen is already the dining area. So this is actually a bit of blocking the walkway into the unit. And then it comes to the living, balcony, of course a proper balcony, and then 3 proper bedroom. This is 850 Affinity's layout. But if you look at 100 Palms Residence 883 square feet, so the main door coming in from the right, this is a very good layout because it's like you are not looking straight into the unit. So there's a wall here, but of course if you were to put the dining table here, definitely you will see dining area. But the living area is much spacious as compared to the Affinity living area, and of course you have a good balcony. And one plus thing is because other than this kitchen is enclosed, you have a yard for this 100 Palm layout, and of course 3 proper rooms that you can put a queen size bed. Definitely, if you were to ask me, I myself would prefer 883 square feet versus this Affinity 850 square feet, and definitely I would be more willing to pay for this kind of layout. So comparing to Affinity 904 square feet versus 100 Palm 915 square feet, differences is not a lot, but look at the layout. Once you come in from the main door, straight away again is the kitchen, and then you will walk past the kitchen to the dining and then the living area. Of course, this is slightly better than the 850 square feet layout of Affinity. But then, of course, then you come back to 3-bedroom and that's it. But look at 100 Palms layout of the 915 square feet. Coming in from the main door, same thing, dining, living balcony, enclosed kitchen and a yard. These are all very proper layout for a 3-bedder. Likewise, if a buyer want to look into buying a smaller 3-bedder 983 or the 915 square feet, right, is definitely going for the 100 Palms layout rather than the Affinity. That explains why people are willing to pay for 100 Palms layout at a much higher price. So this is a 3-bedroom premium current transaction for these two developments. So 3-bedroom premium meaning the size is above 1,000 square feet, and you can look at both the transaction is about the same price. So let's look at the layout and we'll see which one will stand out the most. If you look at Affinity 1076 square feet, right, coming into the walkway, then you will have a good dining area, of course a spacious living, a good sized balcony, enclosed kitchen, yard and a utility. And this utility you can actually knock it off this wall and it can be used as a study area if you want. And of course 2 common bedrooms that you can put queen size bed and a very spacious master bedroom. But if you compare 100 Palms 1055 square feet, right, this is the main door coming in, of course quite a good size of a living and dining area, but a very big balcony, 3 good size of a bedroom that you can put queen size bed. But take note, the master bedroom is pretty small as compared to the Affinity. And of course they also have an enclosed kitchen, a yard and a utility, and this utility is much smaller than the Affinity one, and you can't knock down the wall to make it as a study. So to my own preference, or even if I ask my buyers, right, they will definitely prefer this layout of 1076 square feet. And comparing 1076 square feet versus the 1130 square feet in 100 pumps, right, same. You can see this 100 pumps layout, actually the kitchen is straight away right here at the right hand side. It's pretty odd for this layout from my opinion. So coming in here, you will have a dining, living, and a very big balcony here. That is space occupied, which I think is too big for a balcony. And of course the yard is separated from the kitchen area and the utility is just here. And of course you get a 2 common room which can put queen size bed and a pretty good size in term for the master bedroom. So if I have to compare 1076 to 1130, definitely I will go for the 1076 square feet. And because in terms of the size, it's going to be of a lower quantum and the layout is going to be much better. So let's look at the 4 bedroom recent transaction. For the last 6 months, if you can observe, Affinity got more transaction as compared to 100 pumps. Let's compare the layout again. So looking at Affinity 1453 square feet, right? So coming in the walkway, you can see that you got a very good living and dining landscape layout, and of course you got quite a good size and big balcony. Then you have an enclosed kitchen, utility, and WC. And this utility, this wall, you also can head kick down and it can be an enclosed area to be your office or a play area for your child. And they also have a study area here. Not only have a utility, they have a study area and very proper size of 3 common bedroom that can put queen size bed and a very big master bedroom. If you look into 100 pumps 1270 square feet, right, once you open the door, you can see the kitchen right in front of you, and then you have to turn to a corner that is the dining area, living, plus a very big and odd-shaped balcony. And if you were to observe again, the yard and utility is separate from the kitchen area, and of course followed by 2 common bedroom that can put queen size bed and 1 that can only put a single bed. And of course this one, the master bedroom, also can be quite a good size, but definitely it's going to be much smaller than the Affinity one. So definitely, to my opinion, I will definitely choose this for my own say. And if you have to compare 1453 square feet again versus 100 pump 1324 square feet, right, if you can look into this layout, okay, not bad. At least the kitchen is not separated, but coming in is dining, living, this is going to be a portrait layout as compared to Affinity. This is a landscape layout. And the balcony, one thing that I don't really like is because it's connected to one of the room here, which Affinity does not. And if you look into the kitchen, of course it's enclosed and the yard here, and this, they have a utility, which I think the wall also can be hacked and can use as a study area. And of course you have 2 common room that can put queen size bed, but 1 can only put a single bed. And of course you got quite a decent master bedroom, but you have an additional balcony, which I think is a wasted space. But one very important thing for this Affinity 1453 square feet, right, they have not only the utility but study area, which 100 pumps 4 bedder, both the layout they don't offer at all. So it is very important to take note on which are the layouts you are going to buy for your next home, because it's going to affect your exit strategy. So from this example, it shows that doesn't mean that buying into a high demand development is the best, because if you can spot a good layout in a nearby development with a lower entry price, definitely you can exit with a very good profit, as shown the example of a 3 bedroom premium and the 4 bedroom unit in Affinity. Thank you for watching till the end of my video. Please like, share, comment so that more consumer will be empowered with this knowledge, and this is definitely an encouragement for me. This is Raymond Tiah signing off. Bye.